Hi there. Thank you very much for joining me on English 360. It is a great pleasure serving you. So today we want to look at two very important expressions in English language. These expressions have to do with the use of certain verbs. Today, the first expression we want to look at is had better plus bare infinitive. How do we use that? And would you say had better slept or had better sleep? We'll find out in the video. And the second expression that we'll also look at in the second segment of this lecture will be the use of no sooner. No sooner. Would you say no sooner than or no sooner when? Please stay glued to your seat and let's learn. Thank you very much. Let's begin with the use of the first expression had better. Had better is, as you know, a fixed expression that goes with the bare infinitive of a verb. When we talk of a bare infinitive, it means that infinitive doesn't go with it. For instance, the verb can, sleep, discuss, cook, and so on and so forth are bare infinitives. So when we use had better, the expression must go with one of these verbs or the verb you want to use in the bare infinitive. Let's take a look at a few examples of sentences where we use the expression had better plus the bare infinitive. Example 1. Simon had better explain himself, otherwise he will be jailed. Simon had better explain. So you see, explain, explain is a bare infinitive that goes with had better. That is how we use this expression. Let's look at a second example. Mavis had better return the money and apologize to her parents. Mavis had better return, and the same sequence is being followed, and apologize. That's good. Our third example. Had better sleep. Here I've used the contracted form of I and had. So you hear I'd better sleep now. I'd better sleep now. But what is the meaning of this expression at all? We use this expression had better this manner when we intend to suggest to somebody that something would have been a good idea. In other words, it is a suggestion. You use it to give some suggestion or some advice or some admonitory counsel. Yes. So if you want to tell somebody, perhaps it would be a good idea for doing something, we use the expression had better, followed by the bare infinitive of the verb element. Would you like us to take another example, dear candidate, in a positive sense? The candidates had better prepare well for the exams. You get it right. But how do we use this expression in the negative form? Yeah, we can use this expression in the negative form, as it were, to give a counsel, to give a piece of advice for someone not to do something. So in this case, we bring the not, the negative expression, the not between the had better and the bare infinitive. The not comes to separate the had better from the bare infinitive, and this is utilized in this manner. For instance, looking at the same examples, some of them, let's look at it. Simon had better not explain himself, otherwise he will be jailed. So you are advising Simon not to explain himself because the consequence is for him to end up in jail. Let's look at the second expression where we use a negative form of had better. Had better not sleep now. It's in other words, I am telling myself if I do sleep now, I may lose a few things or it would affect me in some way. You know it, right? Thank you very much. Can we take a final example in this lesson? Let's look at a final example and we'll look at a dialogue containing the had better in a positive sense. Final example. You had better work on those assignments before 4 o'clock. That's positive. What if I want to use the same expression in a negative? I would say you had better not work on those assignments before 4 o'clock. Well done, my dear listeners, for staying low. Let's look at a conversation between two individuals where they try to use had better. Let's say there's a conversation between a daughter and a mother. Hello, Nancy. I'm home. Nancy, have you bought the fish for our supper? Oh, I forgot. You forgot? You had better go back. Get it fried before your dad comes back. Thank you. We have seen how to use the first expression. Let's look at our second expression, no sooner than. Well, no sooner than is an expression that is used to convey that the second event or the second thing that is going to be said happens almost immediately after the first one. So, what are some of the expressions or examples containing no sooner? No sooner, when used, is followed by than. So, for instance, no sooner had she spoken than the telephone rang. Our second example. No sooner had I started going out than it began to rain. No sooner. You observe that in the two examples that we have cited, just after no sooner is used, we have the verb element which is in the past perfect. The past perfect is made up of the past participle of the verb plus the past of the verb have. So we have the past of the verb, which is had, and the past participle of the verb that follows. The two pasts give you what you call the past perfect tense. Take a look at another example. No sooner had we done the cooking than the fire gushed the kitchen. No sooner had we done the cooking than the fire gushed the kitchen. Well, if you're able to enjoy these two expressions, how to effectively use them in your conversations, then like this video and subscribe. And I thank you very much for joining me this morning.